Oh, these socks are so comfy. I change into dry socks a lot, which makes me have to do more laundry, but it's foot health. And it's still hard to do laundry. The laundromat was closed when I first got here in Castlegar, and I'm about to leave, and it hasn't opened yet, but it supposedly will soon. You know, one of the things I offered in Castlegar and everywhere is to give free workshops to help parents be better parents or educators to kind of become educators, if you don't want me to say retrain. And yeah, well, that's not how I advertise, and that's not how I am in workshops, because if people show up and want to be there, they're going to get the Doctor of Humanics, not the Captain of Accountability, which is mostly who you get on my Doctor of Humanics channel. I explained this a long time ago. By the way, if you ever want to watch all my videos on my YouTube, they are posted in a sequence from the first ones to the last ones that make a difference for your understanding. Okay, even though the videos are filmed at different times that are not chronological, they are posted in ways that are chronological. So you'd have to, some of you might start and land on this video. Supposedly I have a new subscriber recently, and but don't kind of go backwards if you really are impressed with something, or you think this guy has something worth saying and it's hard to get. Although it's simple, it's hard to kind of see it because of my HSD. Maybe if somebody can admit that, is start from the beginning and really admire the congruence that I role model. But anyways, speaking of congruence and a lack thereof in parents that are unworthy of parenting their own kids, or educators that should retire before they finish their bachelor's of education for the sake of the human condition, is, I have to say, one of the worst things, because I heard some parents say pretty horrible, traumatic things. I know would, their kid would probably be in their 40s and still not have recovered from this trauma, because trauma is not really well addressed in our society, and it's getting worse. But I see a couple of kids. I think one was the son of this mom, and this is going to be longer than 4 minutes, this one. I'm not going to try to make it less than 4 minutes. And at night, where they could see with the lights that the other kids had on the other side of the parking lot, they were walking towards them. But it had kind of the main exit of the pool in Castlegar coming out there. So the kid, although noticed the other kids, he had his little lightsaber kind of flashlight kind of thing, and he said, "Oh, look, look, look." He was trying to get the attention of the mom that there's a van coming. Not fast, but still, she, doesn't scan. And by the way, more and more of you now don't get the concept that sidewalks are not one-ways. And that includes, new learners who could have a perfect grade or perfect, according to you, the best driving instructor and road test was awesome. And they just don't look both ways when they cross a sidewalk. And so it's dangerous being a pedestrian when the ability to look both ways, and I'm saying just right and left on a straight line, okay? It's not even enough for most of the road users to do, but it's still not done properly, and that includes the best of you. Looking both ways, it seems you assume that whatever side you choose to look based on you getting into road quicker when you leave a parking lot, for example, is pedestrians should come from there, even though they're going in the other direction. It's really, that's how you cannot reference the outside world. So this kid sees this, try to bring the attention of the mom. And this kid, I have the feeling, yes, he probably talks a lot, but this is definitely something that needs praise. But the mom is probably looking forward to connect with the other parent, or I'm not sure if it was a mom, just to kind of talk about how hard it is to be a mom or whatever, when their kids are maybe or maybe not in earshot to overhear this. And instead of praising, answers, "Yeah, and he's supposed to stop, and he's going to stop for us. Yeah, and he's going to stop for us," with that tone to the kid that was maybe 5 years old, maybe. Now, praising the kid for something like this reinforces their ability to reference the outside world, to be mindful of their surroundings, and to actually, be looking for things and noticing things that can kill your kid, in case you think your immortality lies through the survival of your kid. Can you imagine getting this response and then the kid's friend, and maybe even the other kids, overhear this, and suddenly their trauma might manifest as, don't pay attention, nobody will hurt us. So, because of the attitude of the mom or the impatience or the lack of parenting skill sets, saying something like this is so horrible. It's like so many moms will defend their teenagers who can barely pay attention at school for having a phone because they need it to call 911 or if somebody's following them, whatever. And you could show a video to these moms about their daughters walking into the road without looking both ways because they have a phone. And then what? They get hit and the phone falls on the ground and breaks. And even a bystander can't call 911 with that phone. So, eventually, guys, you got to look at yourselves in the mirror. You are hazardous to your own kids. And the people that are not are often the people that don't have kids. And again, I've said this before, is I could be observed being wonderful with kids. And then if the question pops up of whether I have kids, suddenly I lose all my credibility, even though I've just been praised by the same people who observed me, including with their own kids, being wonderful with their kids. So it's almost like if you're a baby factory and you created a little biological creature that you have nothing to teach to that is productive for the survival of your species, is you'll still think you're a better parent than I am, who has to compensate for all of you, except not given a chance. Less and less as the situation progresses and you get worse, and reality is something you have to spend more effort in pushing and pushing down in your denial, which includes victimizing me, the guy who brings reality to you, then yeah, it is speeding up this phenomenon. And again, you could be getting free workshops in a supportive, empowering way from me, like I've done before, and I will be able to do again if I do get the odd occasions to. And again, a lot of you say, I'm great when you give me a chance. And then, you won't spread this. You won't talk about me or network for me or put up my posters and write letters of reference. You won't do that. You're kind of in your own little world, and you don't get that to make the world better for your kids is you have to spread this, not just keep it to yourself and see, the maximum of how you can take advantage of me for my skill sets, but by treating me in ways that you don't even recognize is at the cause of why you're losing me.